Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for Thursday, June 29th, 2023. Well, here we are on the eve of completing the sixth month of 2023. And there's not much to be adding. The markets continue to present a more difficult picture. It's not that difficult to trade, I should say, if you are like myself, a day trader or even a day swing trader. But there were plenty of opportunities in both directions today, and plenty of opportunities to put in a good P&L. So, but position traders, I can see there's a lot of questioning. There's a lot of like, what's going on type stuff, and where are we going from here? And to just kind of do a little catch up, we saw yesterday the macro traders coming in again, but making their adjustments again for the end of the quarter. Now, the thing to remember, and it's something that I didn't quite remember until later this afternoon, that yesterday was actually the last day where everything that was done stock-wise would clear and be in everybody's accounts for that reporting for those statements that were being sent out at the end of the quarter. So that's kind of what contributed to the macro buying that we saw yesterday, and particularly here in the S&P. Now, what did all of that do to the count? So I'm going to start here with the S&P. I'm on the hourly chart. I'm still pretty satisfied with everything that we've gone through so this far, that the minor 3 and the minor 4 are done, and that we're in a minor 5. And again, what's going to be inside that are going to be 5 waves of minute degree. And initially I thought, well, maybe that was the end of minute wave 1. But I'm coming up thinking maybe not. Maybe what this was 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're getting a 5th wave diagonal that may be complete, maybe not. So we are just starting to open now. The NASDAQ's up very slightly and the S&P's down very slightly. So we'll let all that settle out. But we possibly had a little bit of a diagonal here to put in the first minute wave of minor wave 5. And so it kind of fits more for the S&P than it does in the NASDAQ, and I'll get to the NASDAQ in just a moment. But if this is the case, that still could be one, but it's like going to be a very, very interesting start to what should be a more powerful 3rd wave going up. Not that that can't be the case. It still could be. This could be minute 1, minute 2. And what we're seeing right now is minuet wave 1 of 3, and it formed the diagonal. So as it can happen in a 1st wave and a 5th wave, you can get those diagonals going. So, but I'm going to be more satisfied with considering that it's the 1st wave. Now, if it is, let's take a look at first, just kind of putting it on. We still would be looking at we might get a little pop. We might get some additional upside. We continue to have that resistance between 440 and 450. So that we got some points in there where they're going to come in, like here at 443, 445. And these are just price points on the way up. We have continued to bump our heads up against this low level, which is not that low, but low level in my consideration when we're looking at these higher areas that I'm expecting the market to get to, that the resistance that it's finding here between 430 and 440 continues to hold the market back, and successfully, and turning it south. So, but in any case, I am thinking if that's wave 1, what can we look for in wave 2? Now, again, what's going to get interesting here is that normally in a wave 2, we'd be looking for it to kind of really start to come back, like between 50 and 62% of that 1st wave. But what can happen if we're going to get the buildup, if we get the buildup from the buy side, where the pressure to push, the pressure to buy is going to start to get intense, then this wave 2 that we're anticipating may come in weak. And what I mean by that is they don't get very far with it, maybe 382. So 44.11. So again, my thought process is that whatever does come next should continue as it already has to basically hold 4,400. That, in my opinion, would continue to keep a very more positive light on our upside potential here in the S&P. So I am going to kind of leave it that I believe that we're have finished or are close to finishing minute wave 1, and it extended out, and it did so in a diagonal to finish. As we left it yesterday, I felt that we could have produced maybe a little bit of an irregular, and we slip and come back down. Actually, we left it last here, and then it would come back down and put in another low. NASDAQ did. The S&P did not. So that's why I left that there, and this could have been 1, 2, but then this happened. It's like, well, that's getting kind of ugly. So that's why, and then I took another look, and it looked like, okay, a little bit of a diagonal, get that going, and then we pull back into wave 2, and we should rally. Now, whether that happens tomorrow or we wait until after the holiday. Monday, the markets are open. But again, I'm feeling, okay, we're definitely in the summer months here. And it is holiday time, and it's a long weekend. And because the exchange, just by rules, has to be open on Monday, that many, many people will be turning it into a 4-day weekend, being that tomorrow is a major trading day, being that it's the end of the quarter. We have the quarterly expiration, we have the weekly expiration, we have the daily expiration. We got a lot of stuff coming in for expiration tomorrow. So it either is going to be like we're all satisfied with the levels, or we're going to get a lot of flipping and flying and carrying on, which hopefully will produce some great moves and very tradable moves. So hopefully we'll all be able to come in and do some decent trading, and the market will provide. So how I'm going to leave this right now is that the shorter term picture, the hourly down picture, I think we may see a little bit more upside, but I'm thinking I'm still going to call it a minute wave 1 completion point wherever we end up, and that we do a minute wave 2. And the reason that I'm continuing to do that is because of this structure. If I call this 1, this just does not fit to be the start of a larger move. Now, the only other thing that it actually really could be, and then again, it's still funky, would be that's 1, that's A, B, and we get a turn, and we do come down, and we get maybe down to here in a C wave, and then next week, we start to go. Okay, so that's the two alternatives that I have. That this is 1, this is A, B, and we put in a C wave for 2. Or we just do a straight C wave from here and leaving that as wave 1. So either way, I think a trip down to 43.95 is in the cards, but at least start coming back down by 44.11 into these areas here. Would be where I felt no matter what. If it's an extended 2 down or an irregular 2 down, fine. If it's just a great normal wave 2, fine. But I do think we will be pulling back initially. Again, that could all happen overnight. And by the time we get in tomorrow morning, it'll be all lined up, and we'll maybe continue to go higher. Moving averages responded nicely. So we have, at least on the hourly basis, everything is pointing higher. Even the 200 is kind of giving us a little chug there to see if it can't go. Let me take a quick look at the daily. So we're just basically wanting to look at the moving averages, and they're all still higher, 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 nicely spaced out, and they're all in alignment for the rally to continue. So again, I'm, putting the one there. It does fit nicely on this daily chart. Get a little bit of a pullback. In this case, here you have it. We have the daily 4 at 44.22, the 8s at 44.20. It all continues to line up right around that 4,400 level and even higher. Get a wave 2, and then we start to launch. So the daily's still in good shape for the upside to continue. The hourly for sure is still looking good for the hourly to continue, and that's going to be we get a little bit of a pullback in a wave 2, and then we should start to move higher again. Whether it happens tomorrow or we wait till next week, yet to be seen. Now, over in the NASDAQ, a little bit different picture today. The NASDAQ actually did, in my view, put in the wave 1 at yesterday's highs and finished wave 2. I've left it open because this is not real good looking right here. So we could slip and drop and put in another new low. But right now, 1, and then I've got A, B, see? This is where the S&P went to an additional high for this particular sequence, and the NASDAQ did not. Even if I put this on a line chart, it equaled. It didn't. It equaled 1, 2, 3 times equaled, and did not move to new highs. So we've got it all right there. So I'm still going to call it 1, and then an A, a B, and a C. This did move down below what I would consider wave A of 2. So this is a nice, clean, basically flat wave 2. This is now giving me a little bit of grief. We keep trying to push it to new lows. We'll see if this is wave 2, 1, 2. We should rally. We're sitting still in the water. We're up almost $5. Okay. So again, tomorrow's all about expiration. And Apple right now, 190. It's been there. It's gone above it. So they're probably going to try to really keep it up there and even push it even more. We've got Netflix. They've got it up back lower, but not by much. We've seen that thing flip and fly $5, $6, $7, $8, $10 pretty easily. NVIDIA being quoted a little bit lower, but we saw that was, working its way back to 414, 415, 416, but then got caught up in some selling, et cetera, et cetera. So again, tomorrow could be just a coin toss. We'll see what happens. But here in the NASDAQ, let's start reconstructing now. If indeed, I've left these with parentheses around it as if to say, could be. If not, we need to leave open the potential that we will see some additional. First thing that I want to do is take a peek at what those additional could be. We got 618 at 14,993. So remember, wave 2, sure, can get down there. Wave 2 can actually come all the way down. It just cannot exceed 14, that low, 14,853. Cannot get past it. If it does, it's not a 4. Or excuse me, not a 2. So we've seen it in the past, though, where it does, just would not really work out right now. Puts in a new high, but puts in a new low. Wave 2s don't do that. Wave 2 can go up and then come back in. But wave 2 going down, making a new low, and then coming back up? No. It would be something else. In any case, let's take a peek. Continuation of wave 2. We have 14,993, 14,961. Those two, I would kind of believe, should contain it and handle it. If not, we're done already. And now if that's the case, so remember, you can write those down, 14,993, 14,961. I'm going to take them off for right now, although you can come back and look at the beginning of the video. And now I'm going to start to look at what could we get from our third wave. And I got to first change it. So I'm going to put that there, there, and then down to that low. So still decent. We start to get up. We're at wave 3, 100% of wave 1, absolute minimum. I'm going to think that wave 3 should be the extended wave. That's at 15,394. I'd like to see the third wave take it above the existing high, which is 15,475, and possibly even get it up to where wave 3 would be 1.618 times the length of wave 1. Nice. That brings us up 15,619. That gets us up into that zone, which I think might even complete the whole deal. But a little bit above here, so that wave 1 will end up being the shortest wave, would make me very happy. So we have 15,394, 15,480, 15,533. So 480 gets us to a slight new high, and that would be good. Then we pull back in a 4, and then we do a 5, and we end up in here. Okay, so I'm going to leave those up, and I'm going to clean them up because there's quite a few of them that we don't need to see that are unimportant levels. But I'm going to leave 618. I'm going to leave 1.618, and 2.618. That would be the math. I don't think that 2.618 is going to come into our purview, but you never know. It's going to be all the way up there. 15,985 is 2.618. It could, but that would be something good's got to happen to get it really flipping and flying. But what we have also is minor wave 5 would be 0.618 of minor wave 1, and that's at 15,641. So we have 1.618 for wave 3, is at 15,620. So we're getting a little bit of a cluster building there, but that's only wave 3. Remember, in the minor count, or just in the fifth wave count, that wave 5 would be, the most common is equality, and that's way up here, 16,129. So we can have a powerful third wave to get us up into here before we do a 4 and then a 5 to bring in that equality. 2.618 gets us close to equality, but again, it could be in a third wave, or we might have others that'll come into this neighborhood. So all in all, I would say that the NASDAQ pretty much carries the same prognosis, I'm going to say, for tomorrow, and that being that we could get some additional downside. Remember, we had 14,995, I think we had, and then we got some additional numbers down here, a little bit above here, but holding above 14,900. Not looking for it to drop all the way back down and give a test to those lows. Now, it can. It just can't exceed. It can get close, but it can't exceed. We'll see what the market wants to do tomorrow. But I'm continuing to look that there is still upside to come, whether it starts to kick in tomorrow or it waits until next week and possibly even post 4th of July holiday. Moving average wise, the NASDAQ is a little bit flat here, and we got a little bit of a downturn towards the end of the day. We're looking at these hourly moving averages. We have the 200 as flat as you can consider. All the last couple of days been flat as can be. The 50 getting up there and then turning flat. The 21 kind of turning flat. The 4 and the 8 now sitting flat. So pretty much in line with the market not really doing anything. So let's take a quick peek out at the daily here so we can take a look what that looks like. So again, not too bad at all. Moving averages, there's the 21 still angling higher, 50 angling higher, the 200 angling higher. So the 4 and the 8 flat as a pancake resting just below. So everything does kind of look like we may slow down. We may have a very quiet day tomorrow. We might have a really dynamic opening, and then all goes quiet as everybody starts leaving town. And believe me, on the East Coast, they will. And actually all over the country, they will. Everybody wants to get a head start in traffic. If you're in an area where the weather's been really, really kind of iffy, please be careful. If you're going to be out on the road, if you're going to be out traveling, please be careful. I'm going to wish everybody a really great weekend because I don't make an update on Fridays afternoons. And I will probably make one on Sunday. It is a full market day on Monday. So I think I'll probably be making at least some form of an update and maybe even take a look at our big picture technical outlook. The bond market are crazy still, just absolutely crazy, but there's a whole bunch of stuff going on over there that I think is similar to what we're seeing in some of our equity markets and these strange patterns that you just have to let kind of work their way through it. And then you're like, okay, that's what it was. So unfortunately, it's not as predictive as it is. We just have to wait and let the market tell us. But what they are predictive of is that the market is in a state of what I would call confusion, not really trying to formulate what it needs to do as far as where do we go from here. And that's where I'm going to end it for today. Again, I'm going to wish everybody a very, very happy, wonderful 4th of July weekend. And our next update in terms of Elliott Wave should be on July the 2nd, which will be Sunday. And then again, I likely will also be making one probably on the 4th of July, on the afternoon of the 4th of July, when the markets reopen in Globex. Have a great weekend, everybody.